It's pretty well been a technology week for me this week, and even probably the last couple of weeks. Today we launched our new software for our news bulletins, which was almost a growing pain solution for us. We started getting emails from BigPond, who's one of our big ISP providers in Australia, and even Google saying, Peter, you need to find another solution for your mailing list because they're just getting so big. Now, it's not like I've pulled data out of the stratosphere. These are all people who have subscribed to me over the years for the bulletins that we have. So that was one of the aspects that we have. But it got me to thinking also in regards to AI and what AI is and what AI isn't. I had the opportunity to go to an AI presentation held by one of our local chambers of commerce, and there was a lady, I'll put her details in, who did the presentation. And I've also been thinking a lot lately about using AI in my business. Now, there's a whole lot of videos, I'm sure, that are all about everything about AI, but I just want to factor on what it means for a solopreneur or a small business, and some of the things that it is and some of the things that it isn't. So probably the first thing that you may notice in my industry, in commercial real estate, but more in real estate in general, but you'll also find it quite common, you may suddenly get a text coming through on your mobile phone, and it'll have something like, Dear Peter, loving kisses, this is such and such from ABC Real Estate. Would you be interested in selling your property? Now, most people will think, oh, that's just another real estate agent, when actually it's increasingly is AI. It's a computer bot that's sending out that information. Now, we've always had software that will send out like appointment reminders. So it's generated through your PC and sends out texts. But what is different now is they are responsive. So you may send back the text and say either yes or no or maybe. And if it comes back with yes, then the AI says, okay, or if they say yes, then would you mind if, Fred Smith gives you a call tomorrow between 8 and 10? And you may come back and say, yes, that's fine. Excellent. I'll get them to call you. End of story. So AI has been able to do some of the grunt work, so to speak, in regards to what other times used to take people to do, or call centers. If you look at some of the industries that will be dramatically changed, I see call centers will be one of those. Previously we'd have a heap of salespeople just churning it through at 6 o'clock at night. You're trying to cook your mashed potatoes and the phone's coming through. Oh, would you be interested in solar on your roof? Or would you be interested in getting a new driveway? Or would you be interested in refinancing your house? And you just go, no. Well, they've worked out that it's a lot cheaper to do it by text and a lot less offensive. People don't get as cranky because you can schedule those texts to go at whatever time you want. It doesn't matter about time zones from the call center. You don't have issues with language. Doesn't matter what country in the world you are. I'm sure you get call centers coming from different nationalities, and they might be speaking the same language, but the dialect makes it very hard. All that is removed. So texting is one of the things that is very much in vogue. And it's something that small businesses can do. If you've got a mailing list or a target list you want to go, have a look at that. It means you don't have to bring people in. There's a lot of upsides to it. So that's definitely an application to go through. Now, I hear all these wonderful things about AI. And the way that I work it out in the world of Peter Bender is there's probably two levels of AI. One, for what most people use AI for, and that is if they go into ChatGPT, or if you go into Google's Gemini, or if you go into not so much Copilot, but if you went into those other two, most of the time you are asking questions that you used to use in your search engine. So you used to go to Chrome or Netscape or whatever functions you have, or Google search itself, and you'd say the other day, what is the email address domain for a particular company? So I knew the person's name, but I didn't know if it was Peter.Bender or P.Bender or whatever the caper is to find it. And you'd punch that into Google, or you'd say, where is a restaurant in Bargara that serves great chilies? And you would do those sort of search things. And that is what most people are using AI for. It's still a search thing. And what it does, however, is the search, instead of coming back with, Google's done a search of 50 billion records and here's 25 pages of criteria for it. The response from AI may be that there are 2 restaurants in Bargara, this one and that one. So most people are still using it in regards to searching and asking questions. And that is, we looked at the changes to the call center. I see some dramatic changes coming in search engines. So much so that at the presentation I had, they were saying that the new big thing is not having so much your company being found on the web, but it's having your company being found by AI, because AI just trolls through the web. So if you got a business that's not being able to find by Gemini, or if it's not being able to be found by ChatGPT, pretty soon you're going to be in trouble, because more and more people are going to AI. And you see the search engines have, like Google, they put on the top box of the search now, they have an AI response. So they're integrating that in there because they want to keep people on your search engine. I don't think they're going to transition you over to another program. But that's one of the changes that you'll have through there. And it's, once again, it's recognition that the bulk of people are using AI as a new search engine. Nothing wrong with that. What is different and what you can do with AI is when you start looking at the programming side. Now, I don't know how many people are writing programs, and if you're in that space, can you drop me a comment? Because I'm really looking for someone who knows how to do cross-software programming. So what I'd like to do, for argument's sake, is I get an inquiry. I want the AI software to be able to pull the customer details, put it into my customer relationship management, put it from there into some templates, send an email response back out, and manage it. Like, all this stuff is just grunt work that can be done by a computer. But because it's across multiple applications, we need to have some fancy programming, and that is where AI is really good. That is the new frontier. AI is designed to write programs. So much so that probably I saw recently the Nobel Peace winner from one of the big AI companies got it because he created an AI program that could map human proteins. Now, if you've seen anything in genes, in molecule structures, anything in that sort of space, they do get complicated. You see, the models that they have with sticks, and then there's 2 different size balls, and they're different colors, or you have the string of the gene that goes through there. Mapping that and understanding that is very, very complex. And the developer of one of the biggest AI companies has become quite famous because that's what he used it for. He used it to be able to map proteins. And when you can map proteins, you can start to open up a whole range of science. And for people, that can be a little bit scary because we're starting to tweak into areas that we really don't understand. But one of the things that they said, it's like anything. It's like videos, it's like TV, it's like sport, it's like anything that's popular. The item itself, in this case AI, is not really good or bad. Where the difference is the people who use it. Now, you can have a gun that's used to protect yourself, or you can use a gun to be an offensive weapon. It doesn't make a difference. The gun is still the gun. It's who uses it. And That's what scares most people, and to be honest, it's what scares the AI industry as well. Because they self-regulate and do quite well at self-regulating, and they have codes of conduct and moral standards, and they all watch each other. But the big challenge is, for argument's sake, if someone goes off the reservation, finds a little basement in Africa somewhere and starts to create all sorts of havoc with AI machinery and bots. It's like drones. Drones were great when they come out and take photos, but now they're shooting bullets, they're going around corners, they're dropping bombs. That is the concern of the AI industry about what happens with AI. And as we continue to grow that space, it's a big concern. Right, so cross-computer applications. Probably the final thing, and I touched on a little bit with the texting, is the decision trees. You can automate a lot of things using AI and AI programming. People say, there's going to be people losing jobs. Well, don't freak out on that. I mean, when the Industrial Revolution came in, a lot of people lost their jobs because they're machines who actually able to do the monotonous work. And that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. They turned into new industries. They became the people who fixed the machines who took their jobs in the first place. I remember when computers first came out. Oh gosh, I know it's a long time ago, but I've seen a lot of sunrises and sunsets. And people are saying, when the desktop computers come out, people will lose their jobs. Yeah, they did. But look at the industries that were created from computing. You got computer programmers, computer manufacturers, computer engineers, and suddenly there's all these other applications and so many businesses have grown because they've got computers. We used to say that a busy day is when you had probably 5 or 6 contacts in a day. So you'd talk with 5 or 6 people, or you'd communicate. And when I finished the industry in the public service, a busy day was one when you had 20 to 30 people as contacts. Now, if you're not hitting 50 people a day as contacts, you're just not going to be in the race. So computers were another aspect that just grows the productivity, and your business will grow because of it. AI will be the same, as long as you use it for the power of good. We don't want Darth Vaders out there. You're all Luke Skywalkers, okay? All right, so that's my thoughts on AI and technology for recently. Don't be scared by it. There's plenty of other people that run with it. Have a think about what you can use it. And if you haven't already done so, go on to Gemini or go into Copilot. Microsoft will be screaming. Microsoft has Copilot on their applications like Word, and I've used it a little bit for some of the editing of my books. And it can run through there. Probably one final one, and please don't be doing this. I remember a young man rang up and wanted me to be his mentor, and I've gone past that a little bit. But we sat down and had coffee. I said, so what are your plans? He says, I'm going to write a book on sex therapy. I thought, ooh, am I even allowed to say that on YouTube? But I thought, well, that's interesting. Is that your field of expertise? He says, no, don't know anything about it. But I'm going to use AI to scan 10 books, find the 10 most common chapters, and then I'll just print it out. That's one of those evil sides of AI. So please don't be doing that space. I think there are going to be ramifications that we have problems and challenges with. But that's like any change in life. Faster cars, sometimes, they're good, sometimes they're bad. All right, let's just be excited. The world's changing, and that's great. I mean, who wants to live in a world that's just flat and the same all the time? All right, take care and God bless.